Hey y'all, it is January 1st, so that is Haitian Independence Day, January 1st, 1804, where we celebrate liberation. So we celebrate with the soup called soup Joumou, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Now, first you have to clean your meat, so the instructions are down below. And I cleaned it and seasoned it with some epis, and then I go in and fry the epis a little bit and throw the beef in there. I use chuck roast meat, but you can use whatever you like. I've seen people do it with turkey bone. But whichever you please, just make sure that shit is seasoned. Now leave the beef in there, let it simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes while it gets soft. Halfway through, I throw in about 3 cups of beef broth. Now while the beef is going, I start to cut my vegetables. What this look like? Anyways, you could use butternut squash. This is a butternut squash, or you could use calabaza. There's other ones, but just Google it. But I always use butternut because it works for me. And go ahead and get in them guts to dig it all out. Oh, yes, just like that. We're going to strain it later, but try to get as much as you can. Now, after you cut the squash into some pieces, go ahead and boil it for about 15-20 minutes. I usually put kosher salt in it as well, because then we're going to blend it later. So the meat is halfway done. So this is when I add some veggies, onions, and bell peppers. You don't need bell peppers, but why not? And I also add about 2 to 3 cups more of the beef broth. So I let that sit covered for about 20 more minutes because remember, it's halfway done. And y'all, I realized that pot was too small, so we're going to use this big old Haitian pot my mama gave me. Of course, I'm putting in more beef broth. Beef broth, you usually just eye it for me. Right now, I would say I put about 4 more cups. And then I'm going to cover that, let it get to a boil, and then let it simmer. So here I'm cutting my potatoes, carrots, celery, and cabbage. And let me tell y'all about this vegetable peeler. This is the best. You could do it so fast. My ex had taught me that. He had a chef. He was a chef. But that was the only thing I got from that relationship. Anyways. All right. So cut them into small chunks. All right, and so you cut them into small chunks. We're going to go ahead and put them in the pot. The celery isn't shown right here, but I put 2 celery stalks because I'm not really a big fan of celery. So we're putting that in the pot, and then we're going to let it simmer again with the top on for about maybe 20 minutes. Also here, I did add about 2 to 3 more cups of the beef broth. Now, we definitely didn't forget about the squash, so we're going to put that in the blender, and we're going to puree it. Now, that same water is boiling in. You'll use about 2 or 3 cups and put it in the blender because you're going to puree it. Puree? Y'all know what I mean. Now, go ahead and puree it until it's like a liquidy, almost thick as meat, until you get a like good substance where you can pour it. Throw that thyme and parsley in that bit. Now, we're going to put the squash puree into the pot. Make sure you use a strainer so any of those strings and whatnot is not in the soup. I remember my mom used to cook and just throw the cloves in the pot, and then we would accidentally eat them or whatnot. So I figured out a way, just poke that into the Scotch bonnet so that way you don't lose it in the soup. Once you take the Scotch bonnet out, the cloves will come as well. This is when you want to start seasoning it while it's cooking the veggies. Okay, so a lot of recipes call for 2 squashes because you want to go ahead and get that thickness. I used a pumpkin puree instead of going and cutting up another squash, mainly because the pumpkin puree gives a lot of flavors and I don't have to really do much with that. And it still does the same as the squash. And now our soup is cooking. Also, at this point, you want to eye your liquid, so you may need to add another cup or 2 of beef broth. So go ahead and cover it up and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And voila, just as easy as your mama and Freaknik. Give it a taste. So good. I also wanted something chill to go with it, so I blended some fruit and champagne. Happy Haitian Independence Day.